Hello everybody. So some of us have been kind of struggling with the tangent line questions, and I thought before the summative this might be a good opportunity to review a little bit. So it says, given the equation of a circle, answer the following questions. So we first have to find the center and the radius of the circle. And in order to do that, we have to get it into standard form. Standard form is when it looks like x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, where h comma k is the center and r is the radius. So we need to figure out what these pieces are given this equation in general conic form. So in order to do this, we have to complete the square. The first step though is to get everything else on the other side. When we subtract that over and get the x's together so we can complete the square and the y's together, it'll look like x squared plus 12x plus blank to complete the square plus y squared minus 16y plus blank equals negative 10 plus something. Now, as you recall, whatever goes in this blank is also going to go on the other side, because what you add to one side, you also have to add to the other. Same thing goes here. Whatever we put in this blank, we're going to put over here to make sure our equation stays equal. Now, the shortcut way to figure out what goes in this blank is to take this b value and divide it by 2 and then square it, which would give you 36. And again, what you do to one side, you do to the other side. For the y's, you'll have negative 16 divided by 2, so negative 8, and you square that to get you 64. Add it to the other side. Now we have to factor, and when we factor, we can ask ourselves what multiplies to be 36 and adds to be 12. Well, we can say 6 and 6, or in other words, x plus 6 squared, right? So whatever we see here, a positive 6, so this is a positive 12, shows up in our equation, in our factoring. Same thing with the y's. We'll have y and then minus 8 squared equals, and when you simplify the stuff on the right side, you'll get 90. So this is our equation in standard form, but we have to answer the question, find the center and the radius. So the center is just h and k, right? So in our standard form, it's minus h and minus k. So in our equation, if it's not minus, it's whatever the opposite of this number is. So the center is going to be negative 6 and a positive 8. The radius, if this is r squared, it's going to be, if this is our r squared, to get just the radius by itself, it's the square root of whatever's here, so 90. So this is the first part, part A. But then it says use the circle from part A, so this equation, this center, to write the equation of the line tangent to the circle at this point. So if it's tangent, we know that it is perpendicular to the slope of the radius at this point. So if it's perpendicular, if the slope is perpendicular, that means it's the opposite reciprocal. When I say opposite, I mean opposite sign. So if it's a positive, it becomes a negative. If it's a negative, it becomes a positive. And reciprocal is when you flip the fraction. But in order to get the slope of the radius, we're going to have to use our center and the point they give us. And if you recall, our slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And if we labeled our points like x1, y1, x2, y2, and we could have done it the other way, it doesn't necessarily matter, but for this situation, if we chose this to be y2, it would be 11 minus 8 over 3 minus negative 6. So 11 minus 8 is 3. 3 minus negative 6, it's like a plus 6 is 9. So that can be simplified to 1/3. So this is the slope of our radius. But if we want the slope of the tangent line, it needs to be perpendicular. So the perpendicular slope is the opposite of this, so negative 1/3. But then the reciprocal is when you flip it, so it'll be negative 3. So this is the slope that we're going to use for our tangent line. So from here, we need to figure out if we're writing the equation of a line, like y equals mx plus b, we now have our slope. But what are we going to use for x and y? Because we need our b value, right? They didn't give us any intercept, but they did tell us this point. This is our tangent point. So we can use these in our equation. So where I see y, I can put 11. My slope is negative 3. My x value is 3 plus b. Substitute in to find your y-intercept. From here, we'll have negative 9 plus b. Then to get the b value by itself, we add 9 to both sides since our 9 is negative. So you'll have 20 as your b value. Now from here, we have our slope and we have our y-intercept, so we can substitute it into our equation now. So our final answer will be y equals negative 3x plus 20. Make sure you are substituting in your perpendicular slope, okay? Because not the slope of the radius, you want the perpendicular slope to go into your tangent line equation. All right, hope this helps. Good luck studying.